Hey friends, so excuse the noise. I've got the dishwasher going, I've got the washer going, so we've got some background noise. But I wanted to get this out real quick because timing is probably important with this. So I am growing sweet potato slips, but I wanted to teach you guys how to do this because it's super easy. I have basically taken a sweet potato, put toothpicks in it on four sides, to suspend it in a jar. I got a wide mouth jar. Actually, this one isn't. And it seems to have worked just fine. It will begin over the next couple of weeks to grow a root system. Now this is a slip. What I do is I wait till it gets several inches high and then I break them off. Then I put those in water. I'll show you over here. I just put them in mugs. I've got big mugs that I put with water. These I broke off of my potatoes today, so they don't have root systems on them. You can see what it looks like. But within a few days, what you're going to get is you're going to get all these roots growing. Here, let's pull this apart. And this you can plant in the soil. Now I plant these after all danger of frost. I don't really go by my last frost date with these because these are extremely sensitive to cold. Much like tomatoes and peppers, I wait around here in Northwest Missouri. We wait until about Mother's Day weekend to plant these. These will grow anywhere from 80 to 100 days depending on the type of potato. But the best way I know to harvest them, and you can check out my video last year harvesting our sweet potatoes. The best way to tell when they're ready to harvest is some of the leaves will start to turn yellow, especially towards the base. So that's just generally my clue that it's ready. These are so easy, and what's really cool about this was all of these potatoes here. These were all sweet potatoes that I harvested last year in that video. And so I was able to store them over winter, just cool, dry place in my pantry. And we used most of them. And then what was left over, I just put in these and I'm regrowing them. So you can essentially grow your potatoes for free every single year. These grow in all kinds of soil. We have pretty clay soil. If it's super clay soil, I would probably add some more like compost or something into it and till that in. But it has worked very well even in our clay soil here. Out of these, I guess that's 5. I thought it was 4, but actually I just had this tiny little sweet potato. I put it in with this other small one. Anyway, so out of 5 sweet potatoes, I'm probably gonna have about 80 or so slips. And each of these will grow anywhere from probably 5 to 10 pounds worth of sweet potatoes. Now, for my friends that are growing in tiny spaces, these do grow well in pots. I would put them in a large pot, probably several gallons or even a 5-gallon bucket. And what's really neat about these, especially if you're living in a neighborhood with an HOA or something like that, you can plant these and arrange them in a pot with maybe some lemongrass and different herbs or flowers or whatever, and nobody's gonna know that it's an edible plant or that all the edible plants in that pot are, because they're very ornamental and beautiful. Most people also don't know that these sweet potato leaves are perfectly edible. While they are rather young and small, they are great to cut and put into a fresh leafy salad. Now when they're older and larger, a little less tender, you would basically use those in any recipe you would use spinach for, especially cooked spinach. It is excellent cooked. So what's really neat about that is not only is your sweet potato edible, but you can be harvesting off of this to control some of that growth because it is very prolific. you can control the growth by cutting these leaves and using them in your kitchen. So you get to harvest all summer and in the fall when they're ready. Some people say you cannot grow sweet potatoes from the store. That myth is busted because I bought these. Now I did buy them organic, but I bought these from natural grocers. I guess it was last early spring, and started these last spring. And so I was able to grow and harvest all of these, and now we're gonna grow more for this year. So buying sweet potatoes one time from the store and you'll get sweet potatoes for years and years and years. You want to make sure and harvest in that window before the first frost. So make sure you plant well after the last frost of the season, and make sure you harvest well before the first frost. One other thing that you can note, if you are also having to deal with a small space, but maybe you don't want to grow them in pots, you can grow this vertically. I personally love a good arched cattle panel with some T-posts. I think it works great, but you could use just about anything for trellising. It looks absolutely beautiful. The other thing you can do is, if you are planting these in your garden, you don't have trellises and you're just growing everything on the ground, this actually works really well on the ground to act as almost a weed control for your other plants. As long as it's not choking out the other plants, it works well. And I would just cut the areas that are near the plants that you want to grow, and then let it act as a cover for the in between your rows and all of that stuff. It doesn't hurt when you step on it. It's not going to hurt the plant at all. So these are very, very hardy. Come this fall, when it is time for me to harvest, I'll do a more in-depth video on harvesting, curing, and storing the potato, because ours did very well and they lasted all through the winter for us and now into the spring, and we still have a few left. Okay, so I have a few more weeks until it's time for me to plant these. So every few days, as soon as it warms up, and it's warmed up to the 70s and 80s during the day right now, as soon as it warms up, man, these just go really fast. Like, I'm breaking off these slips and putting them in here every few days. So I'll keep on doing that, and maybe I'll even have extra to share with some friends. If you are a seasoned grower and have grown sweet potatoes before, I would love it if you comment below and give me any tips or tricks, or any of our viewers tips or tricks for growing them. This is only my third year growing them, and I'm learning a lot as I do it, but I'm sure that there are many of you who are more experienced than me that could give great advice, especially for growing in different regions. I've grown sweet potatoes down in Florida and now here, but I'm sure that there are a lot of challenges to growing them further north than we are. So if you have, that would be awesome if you commented below a way that you've grown them successfully. I'm really looking forward to another harvest of sweet potatoes. Now, I am definitely going to grow more this year because we used almost all of ours. We've rationed them, and we have bought some store-bought since then as well. But I will say we love sweet potatoes in this family, so we're definitely growing more of these, and they're so easy to grow. If you don't have a lot of experience growing vegetables, this is a great one to start with. All right, well, I'm going to get to work in the garden and outside with the kids. We are getting ready to make some dandelion jelly, so we will see you guys later.